the unseen struggle. People wear their scars like badges, but beneath that facade lies a darkness few acknowledge. Society glorifies resilience, but what about the emotional fatigue that simmers beneath the surface? The relentless pressure to appear strong suffocates those who have endured trauma. They smile, they function, but inside, they're crumbling. Every forced laugh echoes with the weight of unprocessed pain. They're trapped in a cycle of expectations where vulnerability is seen as weakness. The more they endure, the more isolated they become, drowning in silence while the world celebrates their strength. But the truth is lurking, ready to shatter the illusion. What happens when that facade cracks? When the pressure becomes unbearable, the hidden struggles of those who have faced adversity are not just stories, they are warnings. The darkness is closer than you think, and it's only a matter of time before it consumes those who refuse to confront it. Emotional shadows. People who have endured trauma often wear a mask of indifference. They project strength, but inside, a storm rages. This internal conflict is a battleground where vulnerability fights against the need for resilience. They suppress emotions, believing that showing weakness is a liability. But this suppression twists their identity, creating a facade that alienates them from genuine connection. As they navigate life, their emotional detachment becomes a shield, yet it also isolates them. They crave understanding but fear the exposure that comes with it. Each interaction is a tightrope walk between revealing their true selves and maintaining the armor they've built. The deeper the scars, the more they hide, leaving others to misinterpret their silence as apathy. What happens when the mask cracks? When the facade shatters? The consequences are devastating. The world may not be ready to confront the darkness lurking beneath the surface. Are you prepared to face the unsettling truth about those who seem so strong? The trap of comparison. Comparison is a poison. You look at others, and their struggles seem monumental. You think, what right do I have to feel this way? You bury your pain under the weight of their suffering. Society pushes this narrative. It demands you measure your grief against others as if pain is a competition. But here's the truth. That comparison warps your reality. It diminishes your struggle, makes you question your worth. You start to believe your trauma is invalid. You become trapped in a cycle of inadequacy, suffocated by the expectation to endure more. And as you drown in this false hierarchy of suffering, you risk losing yourself entirely. The more you compare, the less you exist. You become a shadow, haunted by the belief that your pain doesn't matter. What happens when you realize your suffering is real, yet you've been taught to silence it? You're left with a choice: confront the darkness or continue to fade away. The power of disconnection, emotional detachment, isn't just a defense, it's a weapon. It shields you from the chaos of connection, but at what cost? The desire to bond clashes violently with the instinct to protect yourself. Vulnerability feels like a trap, and every attempt to reach out is met with an internal scream to retreat. You've seen it before: people who've endured trauma, now cloaked in a veneer of indifference. They laugh, they smile, but inside, they're screaming. They've learned that disconnection can be a refuge, a way to navigate a world that demands emotional engagement while threatening to expose their deepest wounds. But this detachment comes with a price. Each moment of isolation tightens the noose of loneliness, and the fear of true intimacy grows. The more you disconnect, the more you risk losing yourself entirely. Are you ready to face the truth? Because the deeper you sink into this void, the harder it becomes to ever feel again. A culture of strength. Strength is worshipped. Resilience is a badge of honor. Society glorifies the tough, those who endure pain without flinching. But what happens to those who can't? They're cast aside, labeled weak, unworthy. The pressure to conform suffocates. Every tear shed is a failure. Every moment of vulnerability a betrayal of the cultural ideal. This relentless expectation twists identities. People wear their scars like armor, hiding the cracks beneath. They become shadows of themselves, trapped in a cycle of denial. The more they suppress, the more they fracture. The facade of strength becomes a prison. The truth is, this glorification of toughness breeds isolation. It whispers that pain must be buried, that suffering is a sign of weakness. And as the weight of this lie grows heavier, the future darkens. Those who have endured too much may find themselves teetering on the edge, questioning their very existence. Are you strong enough to face that truth? The weight of expectations. Expectations suffocate those who have endured hardship. Society demands resilience, yet offers no space for vulnerability. The pressure mounts. People who have faced trauma are often seen as heroes, but this label becomes a noose. They're expected to rise above, to be grateful, to inspire. But what if they don't feel that way? What if the scars are too deep? The conflict intensifies. They wear a mask of strength, while inside, they battle feelings of inadequacy. Each smile is a facade, each achievement a reminder of the chasm between who they are and who others expect them to be. The weight of these expectations crushes their spirit, leaving them isolated in a crowd that celebrates their survival but ignores their pain. What happens when the facade cracks? When the burden becomes unbearable, the truth is, the darker side of resilience is a silent scream, and it's only a matter of time before it erupts. Are you ready to confront the reality behind the mask? The role of community. Isolation eats away at the soul. You think you can handle it alone, but the truth is, you can't. The desire for connection gnaws at you, pulling you toward others, yet the fear of judgment keeps you locked away. Every moment spent in solitude amplifies the pain, but reaching out feels like exposing a wound. You crave support, but what if that support suffocates you? What if the very community you seek becomes a cage? The pressure mounts, you're torn between the need for healing and the risk of vulnerability. Every interaction is a gamble. Will they uplift you or drag you down? The stakes rise. The more you isolate, the more desperate you become for acceptance, yet the more you fear it. You're caught in a cycle, and the future looms darker. What if the very people who could save you are the ones who will ultimately betray you? You have to decide, will you risk it all for connection, or will you remain a prisoner of your own making? Uncertainty and anxiety. Trauma doesn't just linger, it festers. It twists your perception of stability into a fragile illusion. You crave certainty, yet every unexpected noise sends your heart racing. The world feels like a minefield, each step a gamble. You might think you've found solid ground, only to realize it's quicksand. Every moment is a battle between the desire for normalcy and the suffocating grip of unpredictability. You wear a mask of calm, but inside, chaos reigns. The anxiety is relentless, gnawing at your thoughts, whispering that safety is a lie. This constant tension shapes your reality, distorting relationships and fueling paranoia. You question every smile, every gesture. Are they genuine, or are they hiding something darker? You're left wondering, is this the price of survival? The more you endure, the more you realize that peace is a mirage, always just out of reach. You either confront this truth or drown in the uncertainty. What will you choose? The mask of normalcy? People wear masks. It's a survival tactic. Every day, countless individuals suppress their true selves to fit into a world that demands conformity. The cost, their authenticity erodes, replaced by a hollow shell that pleases others. This internal battle festers, creating a chasm between who they are and who they pretend to be. As the mask tightens, the pressure mounts. The fear of rejection looms larger. Each forced smile, each fabricated laugh, deepens the isolation. The irony? The very act of seeking acceptance pushes them further into despair. They become prisoners of their own facade, trapped in a cycle of self-betrayal. What happens when the mask cracks? When the weight of pretense becomes unbearable? The truth is, the world doesn't want to see the real you. It's easier to keep the mask on, but that choice comes with a sinister price, one that may lead to a reckoning you can't escape. Are you ready to confront the darkness within? Finding authenticity. You think you've faced darkness? You have no idea what lurks beneath the surface. The scars you hide tell a story, but they also bind you. Each trauma twists your identity, warping your perception of self. You wear your pain like armor, but it suffocates you. You crave authenticity, yet you fear the cost. As you navigate this treacherous path, every step forward feels like a betrayal of your past. The weight of expectation crushes you. You're torn between the person you were and the one you want to become. The truth is, embracing your true self means confronting the very demons that haunt you. But what if that journey leads to an abyss you can't escape? What if authenticity reveals a darkness you're not ready to face? The deeper you dig, the more unsettling the truths become. Are you prepared to confront what lies within? Or will you retreat into the shadows, forever haunted by the self you refuse to acknowledge?